All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that reading for today, I'm seeing that there is a new possibility that's opening up for you. And it's very exciting with the Ace of Wands as the overall energy for your reading. It kind of lights a fire under your butt. It feels inspiring, invigorating. Um, I'm definitely seeing that if you've been looking for a spark, this is it. And this has something to do with sort of everything you could envision for your life in terms of your stability, your happiness. Some of you might be starting a family or thinking about joining some community. You could be taking it to the next level in a relationship, in a career, or in a family structure. And it just feels really, really good. You could feel like you're really on the right track. If you're not feeling this energy yet, it's definitely on the horizon for you. But for many of you who are listening, this may be something that's very relevant to you right now as you're listening to this. So, this is the energy that I'm going to dive into deeper. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I do offer them and I love to do personal readings. You can go to my website. Excuse me. You can go to my website, which is in the description box. It's ajstarot.com to see everything about that and book a reading with me. And if this reading resonates with you, please take a moment to like and subscribe, as that'll help me connect more with your energy in the future and the energies of others as well. So let's get into it, Sagittarius. In the recent past, we had the Six of Cups, the Hierophant, the Seven of Wands. So whatever you were doing in the path or you were committed to in the past, I think I said path, I meant past. But whatever you were committed to in the past, it could have felt like it came to a dead end at some point or it didn't work out. And this is because it was meant for you at one point, but it's not meant for you anymore. And in order to get you to shift and move in a different direction, it's actually been cut off for you by the universe saying you can't go back there, you can only go forward. And I see you starting to realize that in the current energy because we have the Queen of Cups, the Judgment card, and the Ace of Pentacles. So there is something really exciting and good on the horizon, like I said, and this is where we really see those energies starting to come into play. With the Queen of Cups and Judgment, this is something that really speaks to your heart and you kind of know beyond a shadow of a doubt, like, yes, this is it. And it really makes itself known. For some of you, I'm hearing it could feel like it fell out of the sky or it fell out of nowhere. In the Judgment card, we have this angel kind of coming down from the heavens and giving this music to these earthly beings who are, holding out their hands to receive the blessing. And so that's you really receiving this blessing, which comes in the form of the Ace of Pentacles. So something brand new, but also something very tangible. So for many of you, this is your dreams and your hopes and your manifestations come into being in real life. So whether that's a job or a relationship or a home or anything really, this is sort of the physical manifestation of that. And I see you noticing that in the near future. We have the Two of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. So I see you kind of waiting for it to come into being, and then you notice it, Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and you start out on that path. And this is something that's going to speak to your higher self and speak to your intuition in a really positive way. Some of you may not know consciously that this is coming, but you do know on a subconscious level, and you could have been receiving some type of sign related to this. So I'm really excited to clarify these energies and see what is going to come out for you more specifically. Before I do that, I want to tell you about your oracle cards. We have intensity, awareness, and success. So there's a message here about paying attention to the signs, maintaining your awareness of everything that's happening around you. It could feel like things are happening at a million miles a minute, things are really speeding up, or you're just feeling the intensity of everything. And the reason why you might be feeling that intensity is because Spirit wants to draw your attention to the success that's on its way to you and to how much you've already succeeded. And by honoring your past and honoring how much you've already accomplished, you'll be able to actually usher in those new successes before they even get to you. So really positive energy today. Let's take a look at what was going on for you in the past. For some of you, this could have had to do with a soul connection or a family structure with the Six of Cups and the Hierophant. Possibly some of you were married, or if you weren't literally married, this could have felt equivalent to a marriage in some way. Let's take a look at the Hierophant, Page of Swords, Page of Cups, the Fool. There was something about this that even while you were in it, while you were experiencing it, you couldn't help but wonder if there was more out there for you to explore, to discover. And that feeling kind of built up in you over time of like, I think I actually need to reach out beyond this, especially for those of you who are in like a restrictive work environment or a restrictive school environment. There was something about it that was pretty upsetting and kind of made you feel like you were stuck, even though maybe there wasn't anything, wrong with it per se. It was like spiritually within you, it felt like there was somewhere else you were meant to go. And for many of you, this could have happened a long time ago. 6 years could be significant, but don't take that if it's not resonating, or the number 6 or Gemini season. And going from the Six of Cups to the Seven of Wands, it's like you needed to elevate. You needed to go from the 6 to the 7 to the 8 and beyond. And something here kind of had to end in order for you to move forward. And so for some of you, this could have marked like the ending of like a life phase. Like maybe you went from childhood into adolescence, or maybe you were in a family dynamic for 20 years and then you kind of separated from that. But there's something here that did kind of come to a close and became blocked off for you. Let's take a look at the Six of Cups. It was something meaningful to you at some point and definitely probably shaped who you are. But you're saying there was just constant struggle with whoever was involved in that. For some of you, I'm seeing it was multiple people, really. Like it could have been multiple family members or multiple people you lived in a home with, roommates. It could have been a friend group or like a social circle. But it's like the energies were just clashing. They just weren't working. And with the Six of Cups there, this was something that was in your life for a reason, to teach you certain spiritual lessons. Could have felt karmic in nature, but ultimately you kept getting these feelings of like, I need to let this go. And some of you might have let it go easily, but for many of you, I'm seeing that you kind of had to be forced out of it by the universe, by certain circumstances, in order to really move on. Like you could have been hanging on to this until the last possible second, and then there were just so many obstacles that it kind of forced you to move in a different direction. Eventually, it became hard to ignore the feelings that you had under the surface. Some of you could have meditated with that Four of Swords and really gone within and kind of quieted your mind. And that was when you tapped into your subconscious and received this insight. There was a truth about you, a truth within you that wasn't aligned with what was going on around you. And eventually it became too hard to ignore. And anything that was under the surface, whether it was for you or for other people, eventually kind of came bubbling out. And it couldn't be ignored anymore, or it couldn't just fly under the radar quietly. Your awareness was actually drawn to that. And so that's where intensity and awareness, the oracle cards, could come out here as well, where the intensity of the situation, the building pressure, it was actually meant to draw your attention to maybe what wasn't working, what was working, and what you actually wanted for yourself. what does success actually look like for you? And you kind of had to go through this weeding out process of conflict, of difficulty, of change, so you could realize, well, that's not what I wanted. I want something else. So let's take a look at your current energy. We have the Queen of Cups, Judgment, and the Ace of Pentacles. So your heart is very open here with the Queen of Cups. Sorry, and that is a really beautiful sign because it means that you're in touch with how you feel and you're being kind of led by your heart. I'm not seeing too many signs of being really bogged down in your mind, which is really good. And it's that openness and that open-heartedness that brings in that new opportunity. Let's take a look at that Queen of Cups. Queen of Swords, Four of Pentacles, Ten of Swords. There was something here that you were holding on to, maybe a mindset, a perspective, or just like a conversation maybe that you had. Maybe someone said something, but there was some type of belief that was possibly communicated, and it really hurt you with that Ten of Swords, and it shifted your heart. Like it shifted the way that you felt about things. And it taught you something. There's like a spiritual lesson involved in this with the Judgment card about, again, what wasn't working. And I see you kind of looking back at that and learning, about what it is that led up to that difficult communication. And there was something about it just being well past time for you to release something. And it's interesting that you come through as the Queen of Cups. Like, you're very much letting yourself feel whatever happened here. There was a point where maybe you were kind of cut off from your heart and you were holding on to like a logical side of things, and that just couldn't continue any longer. And it kind of blasted open your heart, even though it might have come about in like a painful or difficult way. Ultimately, I see it being for the best. Let's take a look at the lesson learned here for Judgment. Nine of Swords, the Hanged Man, the Empress. Wow, that's a powerful energy. You've learned through this experience how to gain control of your own energy. You go from the Nine of Swords, which is this very unstable, very heightened, very intense, almost like panicked energy, like the energy of like a panic attack, to the Hanged Man, which is stillness, consciousness, perspective shifts, calm, like this energy of learning and being connected. The Hanged Man represents and is modeled after Christ on the cross. And whether or not you believe in Jesus or Christianity, like I personally was raised Jewish, but it represents sort of the moment that humanity connects with the divine and opens up our heart and opens up our mind. And in the Hanged Man card, you have this ray of light that's surrounding this person's head as they're kind of hanging upside down. And so we say that the Hanged Man represents perspective shifts because you turn things on their head. You turn things upside down when you enter the Hanged Man energy, and you stay still in that shift so that you can have this moment of enlightenment, this moment of clarity. And the thing that you're learning is, in whatever way it means to you, about your own mentality and your own perspective and how you can get in control of that. And it's almost like nothing can shake you with the Empress card once you've gone through this spiritual lesson, because your inner world, like you're able to constantly return to your equilibrium now. And it's interesting because you can't have the dark without the light, and you can't have the light without the dark. So we see those two polarities here with the darkness of the Nine of Swords, and kind of being confused and anxious and wrapped up in those energies, and then the opening up, the clarity of the Hanged Man. And it's like you really went through this dark night of the soul, and it brought you closer to yourself, and you started to see through different illusions, the illusions of other people and the illusions within yourself, like things you might tell yourself that might not be true. And it really has empowered you and led you to become this empress who is completely stable in herself and very much able to connect with whatever is outside of her in a really confident way, because she's not shaken and she has this sort of internal stability. So if you're resonating with this, very proud of you, Sagittarius. You've been through quite a lot, whether other people have seen it or not, and you've come out the other side much stronger for it. So let's take a look at the Ace of Pentacles. It's bringing in something brand new for you, and it's sort of like, how could it not? Because with this energy, you're like really packing a punch. It's clear, it's powerful, but it's also gentle. I'm seeing a lot of feminine energy here of the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Cups, the Empress card. So it's like you're like leaning into your feminine energy so you can access your own power. And it opens up like something very, very brand new for you, like a new opportunity. Let's take a look with the Ace of Pentacles, the Devil, the Eight of Cups, the Page of Swords. It's interesting. This brand new thing is actually just the experience of walking away from anything toxic, anything unhealthy. Now that you've been through this experience, you can identify anything that takes you off center, anything that feels really unhealthy. It like stands out so clearly to you, and you're almost able to like leave anything that seems like hardship or resistance. It's like you just sidestep it. And it might feel small in the moment, but it's actually big because it creates a general feeling of safety and stability for you, where the things that are left are things that feel stable and secure and safe for you. And this could be very different from what you've experienced in the past, or maybe it felt like constant conflict or constant pain, or you always had to look over your shoulder and protect yourself, and now you're kind of leaving that energy of survival mode and you're stepping into something much more abundant. And then it's also interesting here, we have the Two of Wands in the near future. So, and we also have the Two of Wands at the bottom of this deck that I'm shuffling right now. But because you're in this energy of stability and like being very centered, it just naturally attracts things to you. And you're kind of showing me as you move forward, I don't need to chase after anything. Whatever's meant for me is going to come towards me, and I'll know what it is when I see it. Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and I'll just be able to go right for it. And I see you kind of taking those opportunities as they come and exploring things as they come. But it's a very still energy, and it's interesting because I see a lot of movement here for you and new opportunities, but it's almost like you could just sit on your couch and eat potato chips and this would still come towards you because your energy is just that powerful. Let's take a look at the Two of Wands, Six of Wands, Nine of Cups, the King of Cups. You're showing sort of this energy of like, I know that something or someone that can match my energy and make me feel really good is coming. And so I'm just going to wait. And some of you, this could be a literal person, like you could be waiting for a partnership. But others of you, it's like an opportunity or an experience that just matches you and kind of lights you up with that Six of Wands and Nine of Cups. But whatever it is, you're kind of showing me like I'm waiting for like the one, but it's not waiting in the sense that I typically see of like putting your life on hold and like really waiting and waiting and waiting. It's not like that. It's more just like I said, being in that energy of attraction, being like, what's going to come towards me? And as you kind of bring this in and attract it to you, you're still going about your life and you're being yourself. but again, you're drawing something to you that looks really, really positive, really, really good. And it gives me a sense of like triumph and celebration when this comes in, of like, like everything's good. Everything's really good. Let's take a look at the Page of Pentacles in your near future. Knight of Wands, Five of Cups, Two of Cups. Let's look at the Page of Wands. Two of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, the Emperor. So with this energy that you have of being centered, of being balanced, you might not even realize what a sparkling jewel you become, and it draws in all these people who want to snatch up that jewel, right? And so there could be things that come towards you and they kind of present themselves to you and they look good on the surface, but they might end up leading to some disappointment down the line. So there's going to be this need for you to be discerning when different things cross your path. You might receive options that sparkle at first, but then they lose their shine. And you're going to need to be kind of aware of that, and also to hold out and allow yourself to be by yourself, or to keep going down your own path individually until someone or something bringing the whole package comes along. Because you're the Empress, you're looking for the Emperor. Whether or not you're looking for a relationship, whatever matches your energy, it needs to match your energy completely. And so there's just a little warning here of like, don't rush into anything that doesn't feel 100%, and be willing to still leave things if you realize, oh, this isn't the one, because there's something out there that's meant for you, but it might require you to spend just a little bit more time being very singular, being by yourself. And I always say that the Empress card is like the Beyonce card, because she's kind of in a league of her own, right? Like there's no one else that really compares to Beyonce, to her creative power, and she's just in a league of her own. And when you're on that level, there's lots of people who want your energy, but there's only a few people who can really match up to it. And so I want you to think about yourself in that way, and don't sell yourself short. Like, remember, sort of, would Beyonce work with this person, or would they let this energy in? So just something to note as you move forward. But again, I see lots of new grand things being on the horizon for you, and overall a lot of positivity and a lot of love. Let's get 3 cards of advice from the universe, and then we'll close out the reading. For your advice, we have the Four of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles. There's something that is done, and it could have to do with a home or a relationship, and there was something upsetting in that, and Spirit's saying it's done. Let it be done is sort of the advice. So that's what I have for you, Sag. I hope this helps. I hope this resonates, and I'll see you next time.